What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Hobby Hotline. As always, my name is Drew, DH, and joining me today, we've got Val Mars. What's going on, Val? And we've got the man, the myth himself, Deafness 45. What's up, dude?
Hey, man, I'm here this time. Just happy to be here.
There you go. All right, we'll take it. Thanks for...
Everybody's doing well.
Yeah, doing good. How about yourself?
I can't complain besides, like I just told you guys when I got on the back end here, finishing up my morning stream and getting a call from my son saying, "Oh, Dad, I heard a pop in my tire. My tire's leaking out air." I'm like, "Oh, great." So luckily his mother and them are going to save the day so I could make sure I don't miss another episode. So I'm here. Let's go.
Let's do it. All right, guys. Well, as always, if you'd like to call in, if you got any questions, comments, or anything that you would like to discuss today, we'll be putting the link right here in the chat, and just call in, let us know. But guys, I guess we'll start out this week. There was some pretty interesting stuff that came out. I know a lot of people this week, it seems like we're planning on going to the Dallas show, which we'll touch on a little bit later. But Topps this week put out some pretty interesting stuff. And I mean, it really went everywhere to ESPN. I mean, it's been all over the place, but they're putting out a Trevor Lawrence set. They announced that they're putting out a Trevor Lawrence set, a pretty big set. Looks like it's going to be focused just on him. It's pretty neat. They've got, I guess, his brother and sister-in-law or something like that are both artists, and they're going to be contributing some original art to it. Pretty interesting, but when I'm looking at it, it looks like, I don't know. I look at this and I remember a couple, I believe it was last year, they were going to do the Topps Chrome autographs for basketball. And you saw Tyler Hero, he signed those, and then apparently they destroyed them or whatever they were supposed to do. They've done the Brett Hull stickers at the All-Star game that apparently he signed some of. I've still never seen any in the wild, but you saw him signing them there live in person. So it kind of makes me think, what do you guys think about this Trevor Lawrence set? And do you think this is kind of Topps' way of moving back into football, maybe some other sports? Because they've kind of done it with Goodwin's Champions the last couple of years. They snagged Garland up. They've been inching in these guys into some products, but now they're doing a full-fledged football set on a player. What do you guys think about this from Topps?
Want me to go first, Val?
Sure.
All right. So I think my take is, I mean, as a overall football card fan, as a all-sport fan, I'm excited. I like it. You know, like I think you kind of brought up pre-show, like there's going to be a lot of people out there that are the unlicensed stuff. It doesn't have the logos, yada, 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 right? But they can usually, I mean, you see a lot of this stuff with, like, even with the baseball and the Panini products, like they're very good at times on making it not even visible, where the way the player is, how it's positioned, where you wouldn't even really be seeing a logo or anything anyway, right? So I think all in all, yeah, I think it's a move to where, you know, hopefully we'll continue to see more and more product come from Topps what it's in regards to football cards. And again, I think it's all in all, I think it's good for the hobby. So,
yeah, I was, looking at the little write up for it. It's going to have autographs in there. It looks like, they show an image of the 86, like an archives looking with him with no logos or nothing. But I don't know. This kind of reminds me of, Topps has been putting out those curated sets, those little, box sets and throwing autos in there. So, I think we're in a unique situation where we definitely know who's going to go number one in the draft. Mm-hmm. And then so that they can target in on this and he's going to has lots of fans, whatever. I like it. And then, some of the cards are going to be designed, I think, Drew, you had said, by his brother and sister-in-law. So it's kind of a mix. He can get his family kind of involved and all that stuff. So I don't know what the price point is. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's definitely interesting. And it kind of is on the heels of Leaf doing bringing Pro Set back. So there's a lot of interest in football. So maybe they can use kind of this as a stepping stone to try to get into that NFL license. So,
well, Topps has got to be looking at like Leafs' success with Pro Set. That they've got to, because I mean, you look at that Trevor Lawrence card. I mean, that absolutely absurd. You saw the what was that, I believe Mac Jones autographs Brian Gray and Leaf put out, and they ended up selling out in I think like a minute and 9 seconds or something like that. Like
you bring that up because the Trevor Lawrence, I think it was like $700 the auto, and I think it was limited to maybe 199 or whatever, but it sold out quick. So that was definitely going to drive the sales for this Topps.
Well, I think, I mean, honestly, as someone that used to I super collected Topps Chrome for years until they stopped making it. That was all I collected when I got back into the hobby. And as someone that loves Topps and loves Topps Chrome, I would love for football to come back in. And I really like Card Stories put up a really good point that he'd like to see some cards, but there's no uniforms or anything. Nowadays, I mean, in all honesty, there's so much. I mean, you look at the old school sets of like there were so many back in the day, old Pro sets even for a while there. They would do a good job of taking them without their jerseys, but you can do it without helmets. You can do sidelines. You can do warm-ups. You can do practice. You can do anything you want. And like you said, Deafness, Panini does a great job positioning baseball players. Yep. And so their helmets turn, their heads turned where you can only see in the back of the jersey. And I mean, yeah, they've got to cut pinstripes out of people's stuff which is ridiculously stupid, but that's another point. They've got to edit dumb stuff like that out. But you can make really cool unlicensed cards. Leaf's been doing it for ages. And Topps has done it in the past. I mean, even when they had the NFL license, Bowman didn't have logos on it, and people collected Bowman like crazy.
Right. And so, Drew, you just touched on, too, like, doing it without the uniforms and stuff. If you go to the Beckett's website where they talk about it, the article, like one of the main photos is doing like the old retro or the old, throwback, like an 86. They got an 86 photo of him without a helmet on. He's just got a T-shirt on and shorts. And it's like a shot of him like he just released with his nice, long, beautiful hair, reeling back in the breeze like this, But that's they can get away with that. Like, it looks awesome. Yeah. Like, I look at this card and I'm like, hey, I would buy that. Right. I would be a fan of that.
That's what I was looking at. You're right.
It doesn't throw me off. That looks awesome. Like, that's like, yes, nostalgia. Bring it back. Bring that old school design back. They don't need the helmet. They don't need a jersey.
I think in terms of football also, it helps a lot that these football players nowadays, it used to be 10 years ago, a lot of the stars of the NFL people wouldn't recognize without their helmets on. Mm-hmm. Let's be honest. A lot of them, the casual person had no clue who they were outside of their helmet, and that was always the quote-unquote downfall for football, was that you didn't know what the guys looked like underneath their helmets. Now you do. Now you've got social media. These guys are all over TV. These guys are doing millions of things. They're selling a brand. They're on everything, and they're actually interacting with people. These people know what they look like now. Whereas 10 years ago, a lot of these guys that weren't Tom Brady or Peyton Manning, you'd walk right past them and you'd be like, damn, that dude's huge. You have no clue who he is. Right. We do have a caller on the line. We're going to bring him in now. He is a regular. Welcome him back, Mr. Kevin Jones. What's up, man?
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
Hey, Kevin.
Doing all right.
Hey, I just, talking about Topps football, I'd love to see it come back in some fashion. I totally miss it. I've got the Packer team sets. I'm a Packers collector, obviously, and, have their run from 56 all the way up to the last year, and I really miss it. For some reason, I feel like the Panini is a bit of a void. It's just not quite the same. If they did go unlicensed, which I think would really work, it would be fine because, anybody who's collected vintage football from 1970 through 1981, Topps didn't have access to the logos anyway. Mm-hmm. So all those cards, if they had helmets, they were airbrushed. The in-action photos that they use, a lot of them were very carefully pictured, and I'm sure there's a whole bunch of Getty images and stuff that they could get. And that gives them a bunch of heritage products they could potentially do using those kind of designs and logos and or lack of logos. And I just think it would be great. I miss Topps football so much. It's just not the same without them.
No, I completely agree. It hasn't been the same for me. Like I said, I had to pretty much. I mean, once 2015 was done, I caught up with my super collection. It was done. Like there was nowhere else I could go. And I mean, I would love for Topps to come back. I think, like I said, I think nowadays is really the time you can do it because, I mean, you can, like Defness was saying, you can do so many different possibilities without helmets, without anything. And I mean, I think it's prime time for it to work. And people keep asking for products that can be affordable. Let's be honest, if they're not paying for the license, that's cutting down a ton of their cost. They might actually be able to put some products out. People might be in a price range people can afford.
Well, and it would be great. I'm sure the NFLPA would be open to that. You know, I'd love it. That's really all I had to say. It's just the Trevor Lawrence set. I think that's a little weird, but I think it'll do well. I'm not interested in it personally, but yeah, I really, really hope Topps can get the license.
What's weird about it?
That's kind of cool, I guess, you know, but it's
Then Drew, scroll down and show him the 86 one. That's
go.
Cool looking.
There's the one with the fan.
Yes.
You know, there's a guy standing underneath him with the fan, right?
Yeah, so the hair is the beautiful hair can.
I mean, that's the way I like to look at it.
You know, that works.
Yeah,
I know. It looks awesome. That's what we were just talking about. Yeah.
That's what I was going to say is that even though it doesn't have the logos and stuff, Topps can go into the archive make it like an archive set with, you know, the different vintage years, backgrounds and stuff and just make it pop. And you kind of even forget that you're not even seeing the logo. Exactly. So, you know, and I think, you know, Kevin, you hit it right on the head there with the Players Association with cards getting as hot as they are, that you know that they could see some more revenue streams, and you know Topps doesn't have to put out, I don't know what, 15 20 sets whatever of football. They can just do one or two, and I think this kind of fills the early void until he gets drafted and they start getting photos from the teams and stuff. So you know, I think this is slated for April sometime. So and then, you know, people trying to get that first auto and stuff like that. So I think it kind of works. I think Topps, you know, hopefully they got teams working on this. So for other things in the queue.
Yeah, it'd be great to see a flagship. Like if they did 5 products, a flagship, a chrome, obviously, a heritage, I think would be awesome. Because I don't think they ever did that with football. I know they did some archives. And then, you know, maybe a Bowman product and then maybe something higher end with autographs if they were able to do that. But just really cool. And I hope everybody has a great Saturday. And come on, Topps, let's go for it.
Sweet. Well, thanks for calling in, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
Guys.
Have a good one, bud. All right. Thanks, Kevin, for calling in. And if anyone else would like to call in, if there's anything, whether it's Topps football or anything else you guys would like to talk about, just call in, let us know. We would love to have you guys call in.
So I was just clarifying. I thought Topps had done a heritage set. They did back in 2001.
Yeah.
I don't think it was very long, a couple of years, but that was actually one of the sets that got me back in the collecting football.
Yeah, and I'm not saying I want to see 50 sets. There doesn't need to be a million sets. They don't need to come out with a set a month and 2 sets a month all through football season. It doesn't need to be done. But some classic sets like this, I think it's the prime time to do it. I mean, you're seeing, like I said, we've seen Leaf with Pro Set. You're seeing the results of that selling out in no time. You're seeing these Tyson Bet collaborations that he's doing. Those things are flying. He's announced that he's got like 7 or 8 other people in the works that he's doing sets with. So, I mean, I think you're going to start to see a lot of this stuff coming out. And I don't know. I personally love it. I hope Topps is back into the game. But
and Drew, you had touched on 15 as being the last year that they actually did it where they had the licensing. It's kind of funny that we're on this and we're talking about tops in football because last weekend I picked up a box of 2015 Tops Finest Football. There was one box left on the shelf at my local LCS and it was like priced at like $150 for a hobby box. And I'm like, you can't go wrong for that, right? Nope. So, I mean, we got like a 25 of 25 Pulsar die cut Romo, but it gets better. We got a little Brady X Fractor out of the box.
Solid.
We got a little nice Wilson insert. Where's Wilson going? Where's Russell Wilson going to go to?
Bears.
What? Bears?
Sorry, what?
The Bears. That's what a lot of people are saying. Yeah. See what happens. He's got to get an offensive line, though.
But, you bring up a good point, though, Jeff, that I'm curious to see, if Topps gets back into this, what that does for older wax, maybe like Pro Set wax now that Brian's brought the Pro Set brand back. So, it only helps, I guess, that era. So,
well, I'll tell you right now, I'm down in Florida doing processing for Gem Mint. I can tell you just by looking at stuff people have sent in the last 3 weeks, just the announcement that Pro Set was back, there's thousands that I'm inputting into the system right now. People went digging like as soon as they saw Pro Set coming back out. So when you announce something like this, people go back into the past, they pull stuff out. And I think people forget how awesome Topps was. You showed some of that Finest set. That was one of my favorite sets they did.
Right.
That was really when I thought that they were killing it with Finest. Platinum kind of went downhill, but they had a really good format for a while there until it went retail. Yeah. And then you have Topps Chrome, which was always just, it's legendary. In football, that is what you want. And gold vinyls are nice, but I think everybody knows if you look at a gold vinyl on a Super, that Super just pops. So I would love to see him come back. I want those Topps Chrome autographs from basketball for last year that they supposedly destroyed. You can pull those out anytime you want and start sending those out, Topps. But yeah, I think it's a no-brainer that now's the time that you go and get back into football. And I think this is the first inching into that because, like I said, they kind of did it with Goodwin Champions. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence is doing something with Topps, so you'll probably see him in Goodwin Champions also. I don't know what else he signed or if this is just a one-off, but I don't know. I think it's coming, and I think in about sometime this year we may actually end up seeing whether it be an online-only set like this is going to be or what. I think you're going to see something along those lines. But we do have another caller that's calling in to join the show. He's another regular. You guys have seen him call in quite a few times. Welcome in, James. What's up, dude?
What's up?
Not much, boys. How are you? Happy Saturday.
Thanks, man. Hope you're having a good one.
I am so far. Okay, got to change topics. I want to talk to you guys. I want to talk to you guys about an issue that is truly threatening the hobby.
Oh, okay? Lord.
Uh-oh.
Flippers. Oh.
Top loaders and penny sleeves.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
And sorry for yelling. What is the issue? Why are these things as expensive as PSA slabs? Like, what? Why are they so hard to come by?
Because they're shipped
overseas.
Yeah,
overseas. They're all produced overseas.
I know.
I know as someone that like pre-orders cases upon cases of all that stuff. Even the pre-orders, they'll announce how many they'll have. You contact the guys. I talk to their reps all the time. You call in, half of their pre-sales were cut in half. From the allocation that they thought. Now, why these can't be made in the United States? Good question. I'm assuming money, like most things. But, I know at least in the terms of why we can't get them right this second, it's all overseas stuff.
Yeah. So I'm in Canada, as you guys know, and it's crazy ridiculous to try and get any kind of supply. Like the bigger card shops up here in Toronto, they sell out quickly. They're limiting. The one kind of trend I'm also seeing, I don't know if you guys are seeing that in the States, is that they're jacking up the price for both penny sleeves, and they're no longer penny sleeves. They're like 3 and 4 cent sleeves, right? And
dollar sleeves.
Oh, dude, when I go to Walmart, that's what I'm looking for. I don't go looking for cards. I'm like, did they put top loaders up?
Yeah. So it's not a phenomenon that's just a Canadian thing. Like you guys are seeing prices being jacked up down there too. Eh?
Oh, it's expensive.
Yeah, I can't speak to the top loaders, but I do get the card saver ones from like Cardboard Gold, and so on their website, they mentioned that the next sale of the card saver ones 2 and 4 is Monday, March 22nd at 8 a.m. and that new date due to vessel delay. So like the guys were saying, you know, they put this on the boat to head over here. I know in the past that Carbon Gold had like expressed some stuff, and that caused some of those high prices. But and they said the next load of 3x4 top loaders and soft card sleeve goes on sale the last week of March. Details in mid-March. So, you know, these are consumables.
Duck auctions like they do in Panini. Like,
oh, Lord.
Stuff now.
Yes, and well, that's the thing is they're literally taking these. I mean, they're literally throwing these out 2 days after they get them, and they're gone. Like, I mean, the shutdown. I talked with someone else about this. They're like, oh, that shutdown really messed everything up last year. You didn't really see the effects of it last year. You're seeing the effects of it now.
Yeah, it's now.
There's a reason Prism's not coming out until the Easter Bunny comes. And it's not because they felt like moving it back. It's because they had no damn choice. All these other products and stuff were already fulfilled. You didn't have to rush to print stuff, rush to get stuff signed. But it's the same with the top loaders. They had their stuff that was in. They're out. And now you're seeing where, I mean, like you just said, Val, their website even states we're pretty much waiting on the package, and when it gets here, we'll sell it to you.
Right.
So, and I think this is a different mindset though around because this is a consumable. So every box that gets opened, you know, the potential for them to go into penny sleeves and card top loaders, whatever, increases. So, so one group is increasing and the other group is depleting. So,
I have to. So, does anybody know what PSA and BGS are doing with all their top loaders and penny sleeves that they're receiving? Like, are they? I've heard people say, "Oh yeah, they'll give them out at shows," but my gosh, like
I know
they
a lot
could be
of
making
them,
a fortune, right?
Oh yeah, I know a lot of the card savers and stuff are cut to open, and that's one of the reasons that they like having them in there. Is you can get the cards out without any possible hint of damage. You just cut the two sides, peel it right open, your card's out, and you as little touching and as little pulling on the card as you have to do. But I mean, that's
you can still recycle. They could still recycle the plastic. You know what I mean? To get, you know what I mean? Like, but they should be, but are they? Who knows?
Yeah. That's a good question. And Rocco, you do bring up a great point. I did mean Alan and Ginter. I did not mean good ones. So thank you for pointing that out. But
yeah, no, it's crazy. Like penny sleeves, top loaders, even things like team bags and bags for graded cards. They're hard to come by, right? Like I know even the guys that do Superior Fit sleeves out of Vancouver. Yeah. He's running out of stock too, right? But yeah.
Well, I mean, you even saw PSA. They knew that this was happening. You saw all the grading companies that used to tell you have to send it in a card saver. They even put it on their website. You can send in top loaders right now because they knew you couldn't get them. I mean, it's a little easier now. I've built up a pretty good little stockpile, but if you didn't really grab cases upon cases when they dropped, and like I said, they would always announce. I mean, I talked to their reps. They said they'd have thousands of units and ended up having like 750. I mean, they've thought they've had so much more than they were going to get. And it's just that effect, I think, of the shutdown and everything last year and now having to deal with all these shipping issues. Like, I mean, shipping anything is a pain in the ass right now. It doesn't matter what service you use. It doesn't matter. It's a pain. As Rocco said, ships are backed up in Long Beach for weeks.
We are going to be back to binders and pages until those.
Oh Lord!
I got extra. I should sell them.
So, I was gonna say, Rex. Hey, everybody out in the shop, whatever. But he's saying he hasn't had a decent restock of sleeves and top loaders in a year. It's tough to get them now. So you have LCSs can't get them. Regular folks can't get them. I mean, just no supply.
Yeah. They're not. It's not that they're not wanting to have it. It's they can't get it.
They can't get them. Yeah, and again, and I understand like a lot of the factories overseas were shut down because of COVID, right? For a good chunk of last year, but you would think they've probably been back up and running for the better part of 6 months or not longer. And I have to wonder, is Ultra Pro, as an example, have they increased their production with those factories, or are those factories even limiting what they can produce? Are they not running 24/7? You would think that they would be able
that's
to.
what I was about to say, is the companies themselves and the people that make them may be okay, but it could come down to shipping issues over there. I don't know how ports and everything are working, and I don't know what exactly is open. I mean, you start getting into those logistics,
exporting.
There's so many different things that can just be affected by this. I'm sure that's where the issues are occurring. Otherwise, they just know.
Yeah, they probably don't have their own factory. They're probably, this factory that makes other things as well. So they have to, share that time, kind of like maybe Carter Monday, whatever. They're printing everything for everybody. They have slices of time where, okay, we can't, we've lost all that time. We can't make that time up. That those were closed. So it's basically, fractional of your normal shipments until supply catches up. But like we talked about, this demand is growing even more now than it would have been a year ago. So
all the new people that have come into the hobby over the sorry, Kevin, all the new people that have come into the hobby over the last year and a half, right?
Yeah, and Kevin brings up a good point in the comments. He says he thinks people are hoarding supplies like retail product. I think they are, Kevin, but I don't think it's necessarily for the secondary market. I think it's so they can protect whatever the hell they end up getting. I mean, I know that's what I'm doing. I mean, I see, at least in groups I'm in, I know a couple people that can get some cases, and they normally put them up and try and give people a pretty good deal on them. That seems to be something where the secondary market doesn't really look like they're necessarily trying to gouge you so much as maybe necessarily, I mean, like I said, like I'm doing. If I see top loaders restocked at Walmart, I might leave you one, but I'm grabbing all of them. And I'm not selling them. I'm grabbing them because I know I'm going to need them.
Okay, so one last topic before I leave you guys. Lot more action happening with hybrid grading.
Yes.
Right? Seeing a lot more sales on eBay with completed sales of HGA cards. What do you guys thought so far?
Anybody want to start off? Val, what's your take on HGA?
I thought about using them, and then I saw all the stuff about, because I thought their secret sauce was the automated and the computerized. But then I saw the chatter about them dropping that from their website.
They didn't drop it. Okay, I had
hold on. But one other thing I wanted to talk about was that Paul, let's go ahead, shown that there is a patent was issued earlier this month for computerized technical authentication and grading system for collectible objects. So that stuff's coming, but it looks like it just got through the patent process. So go ahead, Drew.
No, I was going to say they didn't necessarily take away the AI stuff. They just reworded it on their website because they started getting a bunch of people that are really into the development of the stuff that were criticizing their wording of everything. So they changed the wording up on their website just to make some internet trolls happy, pretty much, from my understanding. Now, when I had the owner on the show, I talked to him quite a bit about it because I've studied into a little bit of AI for some years now. And they've got a good system. I understand what they're doing. I personally think that they can easily jump in and make some noise. They obviously already are. You can get into the slab colors and the slab designs all you want. That's personal preference, just like every other grading is. And, you're seeing mistakes like every other grading company does. I think it's awesome. I like seeing somebody else come in. Any disruption you can make in the industry, I think is good. I'm someone that doesn't necessarily just hate on anything new right away. I plan on giving them a shot. I do like seeing some of the secondary values, but I think I'll be interested to see when they up the queue system is nice. I would make some levels of change if it was me, just because there's some people that just have no way of getting in. But I did see that they were expanding, that they were upping the amount that they're going to end up taking in per week. And so I want to see what these look like when there is more on the market. At the beginning, it's very easy to see some very high sales, but I want to see when their pop report hits a couple hundred on a card. When people are sending in 1 million of these Lucas or some of these Zions, whatever it may be, when there's 100, 200 on the pop report, that's when I'm going to look at the secondary market and be like, okay, let's really see what these look like. Now, if you can get into that queue right now and get them graded, you're going to get a good premium, it looks like, on the secondary market. But like I said, when that pop report goes up, that's when I'll be interested to see what happens.
Yeah. I'm just going to drop off my first submission today. I was lucky enough on Thursday to get a spot, and I've got 4 top now soccer cards and a Panini instant card to throw in. Mm-hmm. I'm doing the 60-day because, you know, that's what I'm comfortable with, and that's where I think I can make money, right? Even if I'm able to flip a couple of those soccer cards for $80 to $100 each, I've made my money back. You know, I'm impressed with the shipping. Again, to Canada, it's expensive, and they offer 3 different levels, including, you know, USPS for $15. I can't go wrong, right? And I'm willing to wait the 2 months, considering I'm waiting 8-9 months now for my next PSA slab to come back. So, yeah.
Well, I'll be going.
I get them back.
Well, yeah, I live pretty close to their actual shop, and so I'm actually going to go over there and do some filming and stuff for the show here next month, I believe. And so hopefully I can get a little bit more of a look into their operation and everything, because he really is only a couple hours from where I live. But I mean, I think it's interesting. Like Rex had said, I like the idea of the different color slabs and stuff, but when you see 20 of them together, it does get a little busy, a little for someone like myself that likes order and maybe a little OCD-ness in the back of my mind, controlled chaos, whatever you want to call it. I'm a mess, but I know where it is. I don't know. I do like their, if it was me, I'm going with most of them, unless it's a PC, I'm going with their standard label as opposed to the color stuff. But if it's a one-off, I understand it. But yeah, Rex, I do think that. And that's interesting. Golden saying that they will not accept HGA slabs in their auctions.
And that's what I was going to ask you. Has anybody else heard that?
I just had Ken on the show 2 weeks ago. We did not touch on HGA, but that's interesting. I'm going to ask him and see what that's all about. Right. But that's pretty interesting that they won't accept the cards.
Well, I read, maybe it was about a week or 2 ago, that they weren't accepting anything outside of BGS and PSA. So they weren't even accepting someone like CSG. Okay, again, they're new to the card market, but they've been they're long timers for comics. Yeah. They're the gold standard for comic grading, right? So to kind of dismiss a company that's been around for that long and knows what they're doing, right? And from, you know, talk about CSG grading, they're tougher from what I've understood so far. People that are getting cards back, they're saying, wow, they're really, really tough on their grades, CSG.
Yeah. Well, and that's interesting that they said it about CSG, because you would think Golden would want to grab some of these comics that are selling for millions. What are they going to do? Like, announce that they will take it for comics, but not for cards? Like, that's a really weird stance to take. I'm sure they have some reasoning behind it, but I mean, it could be like Peep says right there. Like I said, there's not enough history with these companies yet. Maybe they want to see what happens when these pop reports and stuff come out. Maybe he doesn't want astronomical numbers on some of this stuff. But when you get into it, I mean, CSG, if you're going to ever sell a comic, it's probably going to be in a CSG holder. What are you going to do? Go get it reslabbed, cut the value down, and then sell it? Like, no.
Well, when I get my HGA sub back, I'll definitely come on and show them off.
Awesome. Nice. Sweet. Yeah, definitely let us know, man.
Yep. Well, happy Saturday, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks, bud.
Appreciate you, man.
Absolutely. Have a good one.
Thanks for joining the show. And maybe it could be that, you know, those 2 companies haven't been around grading cards for a while. I mean, just like, you know, Drew, you were talking about, I'm probably the same way. I'll definitely, you know, wait a little bit, but then definitely will submit some to HGA, just kind of check them out, because, you know, what you were saying, Jeff, or our caller was saying, is it's going to take 8-10 months to get your stuff back anyway. So, and if it's at a good price point, why not?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they can. There's definitely a market for it. It's a perfect time to do it because there's never been more frustration in that subsection of the market.
Right.
So I mean, there's really a good. Even though, like a couple people have said, PSA is. It does look like this. PSA is starting to get on the move a little bit. But that's really interesting about Golden. I can only assume it's because, like I said, no track record, not enough out there yet. But I don't know. Maybe a company like HGA, I understand, but CSG is interesting because I would expect to see comics sometime on Golden's website, and so I'd be curious to see if they would allow that. Maybe they don't. I have no idea. I don't go into the specifics of Golden Peeps because, like I told Ken when he was on the show, I can't afford to bid on most of that stuff. So I pretty much go to Windows Shop. I don't look into the heavy details of bidding on Golden until their little eBay competition platform pops out.
So I'm not personally, I'm not huge into the grading side of things. It's just not really one of my big things. I mean, yes, I've sent some stuff in. Actually had my first submission to PSA. But I guess a question for you guys, it sounds like you guys both send in a lot for grading. Is it a balance? Do you guys use different grading companies as just to test the waters because of what things are selling at? Like you said with HGA, like being they're not a lot out there yet, you're getting cards graded, being able to capitalize on more money when you're flipping that. I mean, or is it just you wanna span or a variety of graded cards personally for PC?
I mean, I as someone that's got well over 1,000 cards in PSA's system just waiting on them to get graded, there's some cards like PC cards. I normally take those and I'll try some of the different grading companies out. Like there's a couple of my Bryce Williams and stuff that, I'll probably send HGA because I want the color coordinated thing.
Right.
I think it would look cool with this one card.
Right.
But
so for PC side of things, like for me, I'm too OCD to where I can't stand PSA slabs, BGS slabs. Like when I get things and you get them in a break or hit or whatever, and it's like not the same. I know you could put them in separate boxes or you could containers or whatever you want to do or have them, whatever. But to me, it's just for personal preference. It's just my OCD just can't handle it. I don't know.
And I think Val, I think you're probably right here with Logan. I know you're huge on the set registry with PSA, so I know that. I mean, you go to the PSA luncheons and everything every year.
Yeah, no, I'm doing quite a bit with PSA, but there were certain instances where I felt a card because there's no 9.5 for PSA. So I had sent in some 83 Uno Earnhardt's, his rookie. And they came back 9s. I think I don't know how many I sent in, but if it was 12 or 15, but they all came back 9. I was very disappointed, and so I looked over them again, sent some to Beckett, and they crossed to a 9.5. So or maybe broke them out and resubmitted them. So it's kind of like in that kind of window. But to me, some of the NASCAR stuff is so hard to find that if I see it in another holder, SGC or a Beckett holder, I will pick it up just because they're so hard to find.
Right.
But for the most part, I'm all PSA.
Right.
Yeah. No, I agree. And Rex, I would kind of agree with that. Higher end modern for PSA, SGC, vintage and stuff. I mean, I think right now, Rex just said it perfect. This was exactly what I was about to say. I think they all have their areas. They all have something that I think they can do great. And I mean, you see people still, for God's sake, subbing shit with GMA. So if people are going to still sub with someone like GMA, I think a company like, and I'm not comparing the two and saying they're the same. I'm saying if they would grade with this company, why wouldn't you spend a couple more dollars and grade with a company that looks like they're getting some type of respect in the market?
Right.
And
I was going to say this might be a good just to say, talking about PSA and grading and stuff like that, about the record sale that we had in NASCAR for a PSA 9. There are no 10s for a 1972 STP Richard Petty. It's the only one. No 10s. I think there's only maybe 15 or 17 cards graded at all on PSA. I mean, it is a really tough, but basically it went for just under $15,000.
Wow. Nice.
So that was and he probably could have got more. He put it as a buy it now on eBay. It's somebody that I've talked to for the last I don't know 10 years, whatever. I actually bought a high end Petty from him years ago, and we talked about his 9, and we saw some other sales. I think it was a 5 or a 4 went for 5 or 8,000. So he said he was going to float it out there, and it only took a day. So
nice. Well, hey, you snapped that off in a day, and you said that was a record sale for anything.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's some that out there on eBay they won $100,000 for stuff, whatever. But that's the first NASCAR trading card set. Pretty much, it was a giveaway handout by Andy Granatelli from STP. So you can't get any packs or anything like that, but. Yeah, it's the highest one that comes to mind. Actually, for a base non-autographed card.
Yeah, nice. Well, yeah, I think it's only natural. You're seeing golf pop up. You're seeing NASCAR pull up. I mean, you're seeing sales of Formula One. You see what Prism Soccer's doing. These secondary and ancillary markets that people kind of ignore, and I see a lot of people on these posts laughing when people are wanting to buy Prism Soccer. I don't know what people are laughing at. Maybe you haven't really looked at comps, but if you're opening stuff to move it and you're in this is not to strictly collect, you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't look at some of these markets, especially soccer. I've said it for well over a year now. You just lead into the World Cup. Now. Yes, it's the biggest. I mean, it's obviously everyone knows it's the world's most popular sport, but ignore all that. You have the World Cup. You've got incredible youth coming into soccer, and you've got, I think the biggest thing is you've got a lot of American players finally playing for big teams overseas when they're young, in big leagues, starring for some big teams when that didn't really necessarily happen before. So I mean, soccer is something that I'd look at as well. Just like, I mean, NASCAR, I'm seeing you're looking at like crazy. Logan pulls up a great point. The Serena Williams Net Pro. All of these cards really starting to pull up. Val, there's a question for you in the comments. Peeps wants to know, what is the Petty rookie? He's seen that 87, but he was wondering if there was something earlier.
So I guess depends on how you define rookie. So I don't know, maybe this is an XRC, but his first actual trading card, 2.5 by 3.5, is the 1972 STP. The one I think you're talking about is the 1988 Max. That was the first mass-produced set up until that point. So there's a 72 STP, 83 Uno, 85, and 86 Sports Star Photographics. Those were all giveaways or sold at the track or incentives to buy or whatever. But then in 88, Jim McCullough was the first to create the 88 Max, and it was in factory sets and wax packs. And Logan knows this because he went all around his town trying to find packs and stuff, and going to the they sold the factory sets at the track, and it's got some variations and stuff. But so the 72 STPs, and then if you want the first one by packs or whatever, that would be the 88 Max. So, but even then, the 88 Max, and Richard Petty is a massive name in NASCAR, but the 88 Max has seen a huge increase. And wax boxes and packs and sets or sealed sets are going, for 100 or more. So,
wow,
I don't know if that answers it.
Yeah, I mean those have always been confusing to me. It's tough when you start putting out cards of someone that's been in the league for a while. It does get confusing, and just seeing some of the stuff that gets sent into PSA. There's so many. Weird cards I had no clue existed from odd companies back in the 80s and 90s. I mean, they're everywhere. So hope that answers the question. Hey, Logan, we all feel old half the time. So, hey, if you got a NASCAR question, you've got the encyclopedia up there. So that man can answer just about anything you've got when it comes to NASCAR.
When it comes to NASCAR vintage and stuff like that, this major deep dive. Yeah, the 72 STPs, it's like I said, it was a giveaway. There's not a lot of them around, so
yeah. No, that's interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen that card in person, but that's interesting to say the least. All right, y'all. Well, a couple more things, I guess, before we wrap up today. I wanted to ask y'all's opinion on something. Obviously, the big Dallas show is going on right now. Anyone that's down there, feel free to call in. I would love to see how busy it is this morning. Oh, sweet.
That's what it looks
That's
like.
the card.
yeah, that's what it kind of looks like.
Interesting.
And then the back is just I don't know what it was with the zodiac signs, but it's like that. It says compliments of STP Corporation.
Nice. Do not know, unfamiliar with any of that, Rich, but that's awesome, man. Congratulations. But I want to ask you guys a question about the Dallas show real quick, because it's huge. It's getting so big right now, and it every time I see a show now, it makes me think of the National, which we will be up there, y'all, and we will be doing Hobby Hotline from the main stage up there. So if you are there, please come and check it out. But when I look at this Dallas show, it's getting pretty huge right now. It's getting bigger and bigger. And do you guys think that this is going to be, I mean, in my opinion, this time next year, this Dallas show is going to be almost a secondary national? There's a lot of people that don't go to the national because it's only in certain areas and it's a little too far for them to travel, or it's in an area that they frankly just don't want to go to. And I don't blame them after going to some of the locations, but even though I'll continue to go. But do you guys see this Dallas show, growing into the point where it is almost a second national? Because there's the people that said they weren't going to go to the national are a lot of people that I see going to these shows. But I mean, this Dallas show used to be pretty small. Now you're seeing people flying from all over the country. It's huge.
I think so.
Yeah. I
you have the.
Go ahead, Bill.
No, I was gonna say the car manufacturers are there, and
yes.
To your point, Drew, it's middle of the country, kind of on the south side, and they've held a national in Texas before. I think it was '94. So, and the hobby is so hot. I think there's a lot of pent up collecting and stuff. So to get together and some of this stuff. So good, Jeff.
And on top of that, I mean, just Texas in general, one of the largest state in the U.S., right? So, I mean, you're not that everybody's there or lives there, but again, like you say, a central location. It is southern, a central location, but it being one of the largest states as well. I don't know. I just think, I mean, I feel the same way. I feel like it's kind of getting to that point. I still think the national will still be.
Oh yeah,
will always be. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But yes, I feel like it's going to become or becoming the secondary.
I hope it does, and I want to see. I wouldn't be too sad if some more came out. I would like it to be a traveling thing. I mean, you could put one out every couple months. I think this industry is big enough now where you can move it around. You can move to different cities, and you can just travel, have a couple a year, hit every single location, and I don't know. I think now's the time when a ton of people would travel. But we got a question in the comments. Rich Frank kind of touched on it. Asks, is anyone is using Star Stock? Rich, I use Star Stock quite a bit. I actually finally had an order I sent in, and this is the only frustrating part, is I finally had an order that was probably sent in 3 months ago that just got processed. They kind of had that same effect. It gets everything. Everybody sees something happen, and everyone sends a ton in, and they kind of get mashed, bum rushed. And it seems like the one common thread with all these companies is they can't handle the massive flood that they get. So I know their processing has been pretty slow to get your orders in unless you have their fast pass products. But I use Star Stock. I love it. I think it's a great platform. It's where I sell most of my base cards and most of my lower end parallels. But what about you guys? Have you guys got into Star Stock at all yet?
Not at all.
I don't think they do NASCAR. So.
Oh yeah, they don't do NASCAR. They don't do NASCAR yet. But Star Stock, Rich, I think they're great. I haven't had any issues, like I said, except for the first time I sent something in. I think I flipped it all for a Prism hobby box, and it was just a bunch of base cards. So I mean, anytime I can do that, If I can flip 500 base cards for a Prism basketball box, I'm happy. So, that's what I've been doing. But if it's not the fast pass stuff, Rich, just to let you know, the processing right now, unless they've announced something recently that they've caught up with the backlog. I know they got slammed with people within a month around January, and so now the processing's backed up like everywhere else happens. You see it with SGC, you see it with PSA. I mean, anyone that comes out with anything that people want, they get bombarded with stuff. And
it's like ComC even.
Yes, it doesn't matter what it is. And Star Stock is a really good, comparison with ComC, Val. They're both kind of the same level. ComC can handle their inventory now, but that's been the biggest issue. And it's kind of like I said, it's that one theme with all companies is they just can't handle the massive bum rush that gets sent to them and I think it kind of goes back with what we've been talking about all like with the top loaders and stuff.
I was just going to talk about that.
The demand is so high that it doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, they're all going to be sent in penny sleeves or and/or top loaders, card savers. So I've never seen anything like it. I mean, I remember back in the '80s, it was popular, but this is on steroids.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, my heyday of collecting up until the last couple of years was the early and mid '90s, and that was. I never thought it would get that big, but blown it out of the water. Values are still holding. Values are just going up, as you can see. Record sales every single week.
And again, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is. Like you touched on, like soccer, like wrestling cards, wrestling cards, all the non-sports stuff, the TMNT cards. I mean, anything. It's all. If you go check in what it's selling for now, if you having that stuff. It's crazy. It doesn't matter what it is.
I've never been so happy to have held on to a 91 Marvel Universal set in my entire life.
Yes, exactly.
I'll put it that
Marvel. Yes. Yes, exactly.
I looked those cards up after processing like 1,000 into PSA. I'm like, I gotta look these up because there's obviously a reason they're sending them. I'm glad I did. I needed to protect them a little bit better, but never in a million years,
Well, if you're sitting on cases of Space Jam, now's the time to sell them.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yes. Space Jam soaring. Have a good one, peeps. Thanks for tuning in, bud. Space Jam. That's something I've seen a ton being sent in now. Is a lot of Space Jam stuff coming up to that movie, and I think you're going to see if you've got any of the old Space Jam guys, or you think you do, go digging because you're about to be able to cash out on those.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys follow Ryan Cracknell at all, but he's been popping some stuff on Twitter the last couple of days or last couple of weeks. In Living Color sets and Anchorman. There's a trading card set in one of the Blu-ray editions. It's just really interesting with all this. Yeah. So, and that was one thing I was going to say, since everybody is, gone after the main, there's still opportunities out there. Like on Facebook Marketplace or some other stuff, but, this fringe stuff. So, maybe you can't get or whatever the Donruss, but there's other opportunities out there and other cool things to collect if you like cards.
Oh, dude, are you kidding me? I mean, you nailed it when you said, you might not be able to get the new box, or something from Walmart or wherever it is, or your LCS might not have allocations, but there's never been a better time. I mean, every garage sale, every yard sale I've been to, every single thing I've seen, people are pulling stuff out that, my parents called me and they're like, can we go through your cards that you left at our house? I mean, it's insane. And I didn't even know that there were some there. I got to go pick them up soon.
You're like, you're not touching them. I'll be there to pick them up in 2 seconds.
Exactly. No. But, you're starting to find, I know Leighton over in Just Collect and Vintage Bricks, they just bought a Jordan that's been stored in Tupperware for like 30 some years. People are finding this stuff everywhere. Joe brings up a great one too. The Sports Illustrated for kids. those cards are going up like crazy
because there's not much around. Everybody
Nope.
just trashed them and didn't, they were tear apart. And,
Yes.
just crazy.
Yeah, and that's where we're going. I think, like you're always going to have the Luca Black Labels and the Zion PSA 10 101s and National Treasures logo men, but that's all nice for looking at the $1 million sales and everything. But like Bell said, there's so many, and you guys in the comments are doing a great job throwing some of them up. The 64 Beatles, Yu-Gi-Oh, all of that stuff is all
anything and everything is
really
blowing up.
off.
Illuminati cards.
Yes.
There's some other thing. I'm trying to find it right now. I'm actually searching. One of my buddies has unopened boxes. He had no clue. They're selling for like 1,000 or 2,000 a box, and it's like something he had just. It's a green. I can't remember the name of it. It's like a non-sport weird thing, kind of like Illuminati, but not Illuminati. Something like Colossal something or something like that. I'm trying to remember what it was, but it's
Val,
something crazy.
Yes.
You just sent the picture over. If anyone has this card, I need it. I got to get me a Champ Kind Anchorman card. That is phenomenal. I did not know that these existed.
Yeah, there's a little, I guess it's a 12-card pack that's in that version, that DVD version. So
there is. I was unaware of this, but that is awesome.
But Jeff, I was going to say also things that I've seen is the 2000 Axe Road Champs, Travis Pastrana and Brian Deegan, and as well as people going after Tony Hawk. And, I think they're doing something with the Olympics now, maybe skateboarding and some other stuff in there. So, if you want to speculate or whatever, those are other things too. So,
again, just you see that stuff, you can get it for next to nothing. Grab it up, man. Because
But I saw those Anchormans this week, and I was like, those are really cool.
Funny. That's awesome. I was watching Anchorman last night. That's great. I want those so bad. That's awesome.
Now that escalated quickly. Yeah.
And Logan said, they had cards for cornhole, and Topps has done all kinds of different sports.
Well, hey, I mean, people laughed. I remember I was doing one of our live shows, and people were laughing because I was doing a PSA prep, and I was sending in a bunch of soccer tops now, and I was sending it for 10 days. And people are like, "Why in the world are you sending those cards?" Blah blah blah. Like, I just got them all back, put them all up on eBay, and I didn't have one offer. People snap those up at over 400. Buy it now's no problem. And it's stuff I had zero in cost for the cards because you get them with the Topps points if you buy enough. I mean, there's so much potential in so many of these other areas that I think people get too lost on the new product that's out. People get too lost on being angry that Prism's over $2,000 a box, that they're not looking at all the other opportunities there are with older stuff and new stuff. Yes, Rich, those were some of my favorite cards ever. The Mars Attack series were awesome. One of the best movies ever also.
And they also re-released it or made some new cards as well too. And then, the Garbage Pail and the Wacky Packs and everything else.
Well, Garbage Pail kids, man, their Sapphire has held up better than any other Sapphire product Topps has ever put out. Their Sapphire stuff, outside of a Louis Robert, autograph something, those boxes have probably increased and were a better value than any other Sapphire product that you could get. Yet so many people just laughed it off and ignored it. Well, there was a ton of opportunity there. You just got to look for it.
Yeah, you never know. I always shake my head that just when I thought I figured the hobby out, things changed. So
curveball.
Yep.
Drew, were you talking to the Marvel set you were talking about? Were you talking about the 87 Marvel?
No.
Colossal Conflicts? That's the one I was referring to.
Nice. Okay.
Unopened boxes of those are going for $1,000 to $1,500 right now.
I believe mine is 90 or 91. I believe it's 1990.
I think it's
Let me see. I'll tell you right now. Yeah, 1990, the Marvel set, where all I remember is because I've entered it in the PSA system so many times. I know Stan Lee's card 161, whatever that set is.
Right on, man.
Sad that I know those numbers, but part of the job.
Right.
All right, y'all. Well, if there's nothing else, it is 12, so I guess we will let you guys go enjoy the rest of your Saturday. If you're out at the Dallas show or if you're going to the Dallas show, have fun. Let me know if you see any Bryce Williams cards. I need them. I'm just kidding. Don't spend your time looking for Bryce Williams in Dallas. But yeah, so guys, we are going to put this episode and everything else, just like every other episode, it will be up on Spotify as well as all the other major podcast platforms. But Val, Devus, if there's nothing else for today, we will let these fellas go on out.
Thanks for spending the day with us, guys.
Yes.
Have a good weekend, guys.
See y'all next week.
Bye.
Yep.